Hello guys, many of you asked on my previous video about this Durastill water distiller, about my upgrades that I did, so I wanted to show you some of them pretty quick. This model is 30J. I will be making a more detailed video sometime in future, but here is a quick one to answer some of the questions I got in my previous video. Alright, here is a little overview of this distiller for those who hasn't seen my previous video, and for the rest of you. This is a water supply that feeds the automatic filler with cold water. This is the valve that came with the distiller from factory to fill water right from the tank. This is an automatic valve that I installed. It's a motorized valve that is controlled by this switch right here. When I turn it on, it opens up. It works on 9 volts. At the bottom of the distiller, later you will see I have a little metal box, and that's where my 9-volt adapter is. It runs 9 volts from that AC to DC adapter through that switch to this valve. This valve is a drain valve for hot water and sediments. That's the metal box, the aluminum one at the bottom. So I use PAX to connect all of this. Here I put a valve and a blue PAX pipe. First is a stainless steel filter to filter out any debris that may get into the pump. This pump has a pressure switch that turns on the pump when the pressure falls below about 20 psi and turns off the pump when it reaches 30 psi in the pipe. From the pump, the water goes through this hole in the PVC board, and next I have a expansion tank. The expansion tank is approved for drinking water. I use the expansion tank to make sure the water pressure stays the constant, so the pump doesn't have to turn on and off frequently. So it really helped the pump to turn on and off less frequently, and the water pressure stays more constant. And here I have the pressure gauge that shows the pressure in psi. Right now it's like 32.5. In this aluminum custom made junction box, I have not only 9-volt adapter from AC to DC, but also there is a little Arduino Microcontroller that I programmed to check if there is a water in the PAX pipe. I ran 2 wires, one for each fitting right there, as you can see, 2 little wires, and I connected one of them to 5-volt, another one to analog pin in Arduino to check for continuity. And when there is no water, the relay turns off the pump to make sure it doesn't pump just air. So there you have it. That's how it all runs. From the storage tank to filter to pump, next to expansion tank, then pressure gauge, then a shut-off valve, and then it feeds the fridge to make ice and drinking water, and to pot filler for my wife over the range where she cooks to fill her pots. Also from the pot filler we take this water to make tea or coffee or for drinking as well. I keep this water distiller in my basement, as you can see, because when it's on it's quite noisy and I don't want that noise on my first floor. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you have any more questions, please leave comments and ask in comments. I will gladly answer all of your questions. And please hit like and subscribe buttons to be notified when I post more videos. Thank you. Now, if you stayed until this moment, I'll give you a bonus. I'll show you the items I purchased on eBay to upgrade this water distiller. This is the electronic motorized valve. It's stainless steel, half-inch. It has a half-inch internal diameter, which is good for a good flow, and good that you can dig out some sediments that try to block it. The sediments are pretty fragile. As you can see, the seller had 9 volt, 12 volt and 24 volt options. I used 9 volt. I chose this one because this one has 3 wires. 2 wires supply power and 1 wire supplies power through a switch that you can turn on and off, which opens and closes the valve. Eventually I'm planning to make the Arduino microchip to open and close the valve to drain the water periodically, automatically. But first I need to run the hose from this valve to my sump pump. Next is this 2-gallon expansion tank. I attached it with the half-inch thread down and the pump nipple to pump the pressure in it, pointing up. Yes, you have to pre-pressurize this expansion tank before pumping water into it. If I remember correctly, it has to be pumped 2 psi less than desired pressure, which is 30 in my case. So I pumped 28 psi in it. And here is the pump itself, SureFlow industrial pump. It pumps 198 gallons per hour. It has half-inch plastic threads. And this is the strainer, T-strainer they call it. Also half-inch plastic threads and stainless steel mesh. I bought all the fittings for all of those things in Home Depot and Lowe's store. And this is the pressure gauge. I'll put all the links to these items on eBay or Amazon in the description below. Check the description. Thank you.